Nick Bosa is this year's winner of the Garry Niver Award, and it's something that the San Francisco Bay chapter, the Pro Football Writers of America, vote on. I'm in that chapter. I voted on it along with Matt Mayoko, Matt Barrows, Cam Inman, Nick Wagner, Jennifer Lee Chan, all of them, Josh Dubow. I voted for Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa won. And what the award is for is the player who is the most professional and generous in his dealings with the media. And I'd never voted for Bosa before. I felt like he took his media game to the next level this year. He just got paid. And what made him so professional is he's always the first one to talk and the first day of the week. And on Wednesday, when you first walk into the locker room, he's at his locker ready to get it done. Really appreciate that. So he talks in the middle of the week. He talks after wins. He talks after losses. And my judge of who the best is who is the most honest after losses. And it's always Nick. He's also honest all the time. What do you see from this quarterback? How are you going to defend him? He'll pretty much lay out the game plan. Why'd you lose the game? He'll explain it. He won't say, oh, it's just execution. Or like, to me, Fred Warner talks in coach speak. He talks like D'Amico or Robert Saleh or Steve Wilkes. Like, we got this. We got this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Nick Bosa just lays it out how it is, and I really appreciate that about him. So that's why I voted for him. What do you think of the way Nick Bosa talks to the media?
I love it. He's very straightforward. When they lose, you feel like he's more disappointed from a professional standpoint more than an emotional standpoint.
That's a good distinction.
Which you love.
Yeah.
When you are watching players and they lose games, I think that players kind of make the mistake, and coaches too, that we want an emotional reaction out of them after a loss rather than the unadulterated truth. Like that is way more cathartic than you like falling on your ego and trying to act like you're more disappointed than we are. And then you have people that shill and say, you guys gotta calm down. Nobody's beating themselves up more than the Niners are. And it's just like, when you talk to Nick, you honestly feel like a man who makes a lot of money is not pleased with his performance.
There you go.
And that's what you feel.
And not just his performance, but the team's performance. Like, he really talks like, look, I make a lot more money than the coach. Okay. I make a lot more money than Kyle. I make a lot more money than Brock. Like, this is my team for the foreseeable future. And I'm going to talk that way. Good. You do have the license to talk that way. He knows exactly how to do it and how not to go too far. He's perfect. He's great.
Yeah. And that's what I get from Nick. I feel as though that there's an accountability in how he speaks to the media, where he's not necessarily trying to be your friend, but he is using you as a conduit to get the message out. And that's how media should be used, right? And a lot of times what we see a lot of like personality traits juxtaposed with the media trying to do their jobs. So sometimes you see passive aggressive correspondence with the media. Other times you may see guys stonewalling the media. Other times you may see guys where the only time sometimes there's
combative.
Right. Sometimes there's times where, the only time you can get some of these guys to actually talk is if you are kind of like too complimentary, or you do have to stroke them a little bit. And one of the reasons why I feel like this is such a apt award for Nick is that he's steak and potatoes, man. No frills. He's not really he's not going to really want your emotional validation, nor does he seek it. And the reason why that speaks volumes to a lot of people is because that's what normal people have to do. That's what 99.9% of the people that are in this chat have to do, and get up and go to work every day. And your boss doesn't care about how you screwed up. He just wants to know why. And that's the reality of a lot of people's lives. And that's why when you listen to Nick speak, you don't mind hearing that he makes the money that he makes because he doesn't flaunt. And then another thing too is that you really do love his persona. Like, he doesn't flaunt his money. He's not flaunting his status in the league. You could tell that he's more or less galvanized by the standard he has to keep more or less than the trappings and the privileges that his position gives him. And it's good. I'm glad that he got it. He deserves it.
See, I think this sort of cements him as the voice of the team. To me, I think he is the voice of the locker room. You could say it's Fred Warner, but there's a difference in how they talk. Fred Warner is more rah-rah to me.
Yeah.
Rah-rah coach speak, whereas Nick Bosa is the truth. That's the way I look at it.
He's I agree. The same with Eric Armstead. I feel like Eric Armstead, you have to kind of like approach the throne just to get him to talk. That's true. You have to almost like bring up the fact that he's the oldest 49er here, or you have to always have the virtue signal towards his leadership of being an OG, and then he'll open up and give you a little bit more. But one thing that I do like about Nick is that every time that I see when he's spoken to in the media, you never see anybody warming him up. People just ask him straight questions right away, and he gives straight answers. And
I don't need your help. Don't prep me.
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to say.
Yeah.
Let's go through some other guys on the team that didn't win the award, but maybe other people would think would get some votes. One person I didn't put in my top three. My top three were 1, Bosa, 2, Trent Williams, and 3, Travarius Ward.
4. Okay. Those are your top 3 votes.
Those guys are always available in the locker room. You can go up to Travarius Ward on a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday. What's up? He's sitting there. What's up? What do you want to talk about? Trent Williams isn't that way, but he's there after every game. He's there every Thursday. He's there. And they're so engaging. I really like both of them. Kittle is engaging too. Kittle's there every Thursday too. Kittle talks a lot. Kittle's really smart. Kittle's good. Kittle's good. You know what I mean? He's good.
Say it one more time.
There's just something. I don't know what it is.
He's good. He's good.
So like, I don't know what it is about. So here's Kittle. Every time he comes to the podium, first thing he says is, "Howdy,
howdy,
howdy." He has a persona. That's the thing. So like, Bosa isn't doing a persona when he talks to me. It's just Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Kittle is a whole persona. Like, you know how they used to talk about it was Terrell Owens and then it was T.O. Kittle needs a nickname because he's not George Kittle anymore. He's GK. He's something else. And you know, he's very charming. He's great. He's wonderful. But it doesn't feel like it's really him anymore. It feels like it's his brand. It's how he presents himself.
It's definitely you can definitely see it in some of like his this is one thing that I find hilarious about some of these guys, and it's because you can see like he'll have conversations where it's like, this audience deserves my real side, so let me like calm down and like wear sweats with like pastel colors.
Or sometimes he's like, this audience deserves my funny side. Let's be a comedian today. It's like it's like you're pretty funny.
Yeah,
you're trying really hard to be sort of funny. I feel it.
I understand. It's intoxicating, honestly. You know, I went to I was at the Commanders game. He's got like his own little like corner, like the Kittleettes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. His family's there.
Kettlebells.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Who else could have been in the running?
For media?
Yeah, Purdy isn't there yet. Purdy's good. Purdy's good. Like, he doesn't answer. He doesn't duck any question. But and he'll win it one day. He'll win it one day. He needs to find a little bit more of his voice, though. Like, have a little more fun with it, Brock. Have a little more fun.
I got some guys, some runners up that I feel like I've heard them talk, but I don't hear them talk enough. And I feel like with a little bit more coaxing, they're going to find their stride. One, Brandon Ayuk. At first, Brandon Ayuk didn't even like talking to the media. He's gotten a little bit better. He can grow. He's got a ways
to go, but he has grown a lot. He's got a lot more confident.
Yes. So Brandon Ayuk is one that could actually get better.
He's like 25. When he's 30, it could be a whole different story.
Okay. Also, I think I like hearing from Talanoa Hufanga.
No question.
I think if he started talking more, I think he could be a really good spokesman for the team.
I agree.
I really like how honest and succinct he is. He really, and you know what? He's very personable from like on like a human level. I really like
He
Talanoa.
is. Jair Brown is the young Fred Warner. If he actually gets a foothold as a good player, you're going to hear him. He talks like a vet right now. Jair Brown.
Okay.
Very
I
certain
like
of
that.
himself.
You know who else is really good? A really good interview? Randy Gregory.
Yes. Dude, can I tell you Randy Gregory's story? Can I tell you Randy Gregory's story? I think I told this on the show already, but first interview he does, we're at his locker. He finishes up after 5 minutes. And I like to do this. I linger. I say, Randy, welcome to the Niners. My name's Grant Cohn. I cover the 49ers for SportsIllustrated.com. He stands up and smirks so fast, so wide, like a Kool-Aid smile. And he goes, I know who you are. And walks away. I don't know why. I don't know why he knows who I am. I have a feeling that Kinlaw
watch us, bro.
I have a feeling that Kinlaw thing, a lot of people saw that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, that's like almost kind of like, you know, Javon Kinlaw is like the O-Dog of the team. Like, remember O-Dog from Menace to Society?
Yes.
Lorenz Tate?
Yes.
Like, he's like O-Dog, like young, wild, crazy, everybody's little homie, but
yes.
He got some issues. I
was standing next to Frank Gore during training camp this year. And I mean, I covered Frank Gore, but he doesn't really remember. I was young. He turned to me, he goes, hey, aren't you the guy that got into it with Javon? And it's always like, yo, that was crazy, you know? So
yeah. I mean, look, bro, that's gonna on wax. That's gonna live in infamy. You know what I'm saying?
There should be some offensive line. Hold on, let's get back to the topic. There should be some offensive linemen who could be in contention for this award. I feel like Aaron Banks hasn't found his voice yet, but I talked to him the other day in the locker room. He's from where I'm from. He was freaking born in Alameda, grew up in Hayward, went to school in El Cerrito. He's an East Bay guy, and he's an offensive lineman. He went to Notre Dame. I mean, he needs to get a little microphone time. The Niners give him 0. Aaron Banks has some potential. Jake Brendel went to UCLA, but he's kind of had some time to make a mark. Wisnowski needs to talk more because he should be the guy.
Who?
With the Wisnowski with the accent.
Yeah. Wisnowski needs to talk more. You know who else I think is cool as hell? And like they sound like they would be cool as hell to talk to? Ray. Ray sounds like he'd be cool as hell to talk to. Every time I hear him talk, you could tell he kind of just, you know, he's above it all. He almost talks like he doesn't play football.
Yeah. Guys who won't win this award.
Guys who won't win this award?
Guys who won't win this award in the future. Guys
Mooney
who don't
Ward
like
will not win this award.
Who?
Mooney.
I voted for him. Jawan Jennings will not win this award. He doesn't like talking to the media. He doesn't like talking to the media. Bless his heart.
Let me see. Who else won't win this award?
Armstead. Bless his heart. He's long-winded. He's long-winded.
Debo will not win this award.
He could, though. That's the thing about Debo. If he were more like Kittle and wanted to like promote himself, he has all the personality and he's quick-witted. I mean, he's very verbal. He's charming. He just kind of he's above it right now. He's like 27, 28.
My only thing with Debo is that at first, when he first came in with his character and his persona, not his character, but just his persona, you kind of understood it because he was young, but he kind of has this, I don't know what to do with my hands thing, where he puts on this default smile, even in awkward situations, and his eyes get really wide, and he just kind of like, he kind of just like smiles his way through it, and it's just like,
it's true, dude. Like, I think he's shy. Yeah, I mean, but I will tell you this, like when you see him in like kind of like his element, he's a class clown, like he's all over the place. But when you do get him in those moments, even with what's her name, Kay Adams? Have you watched those again? She's like, dog, do not clip that shit. I know you're gonna put this on the thumbnail. Don't clip that shit. So all I'm saying is, even when he's on with Kay Adams, this is supposed to be like a two-way conversation where they're both on there at the same time having a good time. It clearly gives off I'm doing you a favor vibes. Yeah. And I think that Ayuk's a little bit like that too. Like, I'll give you the minimum. And maybe a lot of times players get past that in their 30s, but when they're like in their mid 20s, they feel like they're so in demand. I mean, he wouldn't even go on Cam
like
Newton's podcast.
Yeah, that's one thing you do understand. Yes, like the guys, they get more open to the media and they start understanding that it's a business when they realize the mortality of their career.
Exactly. Like when Cam was 25, it probably would have been pretty tough to get a few words out of him. But at 35, he has his own podcast. You know, things change.
He's willing to talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying?
And great. He's a ton to say.
Right.
So one more guy that used to be in contention, may have won this award before, but never, ever again. Use check. Enough.
I'm done.
You don't need to be the designated talker for this team anymore. You did your job. You went to Harvard. Did you know that Use check went? He went to Harvard. He's very smart. He's an excellent player. Enough.
Didn't he go to Dartmouth?
No. Oh, no. He went to Harvard.
Oh. Yo.
Respecting you, Juice, but like, you know.
I don't know. The only thing that I get from Juice when I hear him talk is that I feel like he's always on the verge of apologizing for even having the interview. Like, I feel like
I don't do that much, but
like almost kind of just like, well, the team is really good, and you know, the only thing we can do and back to forth. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna.
People want to know about Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey's very professional. He's always at his locker, except he missed 1 week last week. After the Ravens game, and I maintain he didn't want to talk about not getting a lot of carries, but it doesn't matter. My thing with McCaffrey is he's I'm going to say this. I don't, if you're watching Christian, I'm sorry. He's a little boring. And I think it's by design. I mean, he's very much like, hey, my dad was in the NFL. I know what to say. I know what not to say. I'm just going to say I'm taking it one game at a time. It's like, you could eventually, you can like not go to Christian McCaffrey interviews. You can count on him to say nothing, which is too bad.
Yeah.
Some athletes are a little too polished for my liking.
I don't know, man. It's just like, he's just way too mature for his age. Like when I look at Christian and I look at him, I think, oh yeah, he's a young guy. But when you get to know him, you gave out golf bags to everybody, golf sets to everybody in your 20s. Like, what's next? A pumpkin patch and a tent revival? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
golf clubs? I don't golf, but I'm 35. Like, golf? Ew. Like, hey, why don't you join a country club? Man, have a good time. I'll meet you out there with Arnold Palmer. Like, what?
After the game, let's go sit on the porch and smoke cigars and drink Arnold Palmer's. Like, I don't get it. It's just, he's very mature for his age. Yeah. He's very mature.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I didn't vote for him.
401k-ish.
Let's talk about our retirement plans. Like,
are you diversified? You know, forget the game. No one cares about Vegas. All right. Let's talk about bonds.